Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
A little more emphasis on that one.
A little wobble in your voice there.
I still have this. I think it's this freaking paint fumes that are getting to me. Anyway, what's going on? You know, it's the happiest time of the year, and you know what that is? Rhode Island Comic Con.
That's right.
After skipping a year, this week, we're headed back. Hopefully we don't get the COVID.
I believe this is our 8th Rhode Island Comic Con.
That's right.
Is it real? It is
Yeah.
8th, right?
The biggest convention in the littlest state.
Exactly. It's always a good time. We've bitched a little. Go back and listen to the shows. There was one where... There
was some major bitching one year.
That one with the lines.
I think the second year we were there when they...
When
they
that
totally
was
blew
bad.
it. But
that
they
was also
recovered nicely.
They have, and we also know now that if you've got to stay in the convention hotel.
You've got to stay at the Omni.
That's the easiest way in and out.
Yeah, and Omni's always beautiful. What was I watching? I think I was watching something in the Omni. I'm trying to think. There was a commercial for the holiday time at the Omni, and I'm like, there's our lounge area.
That's right.
I'm thinking after our 8th year, they should put a plaque in that lobby. That's the regular Joe's lobby.
We should have one made and put it on that table ourselves.
Commemorative plaque.
Somebody do that.
Yep.
I got the other stuff. Someone have a plaque made. Yep. Oh, I could make a plaque.
I was going to say, you're the guy with the laser cutter, Dave.
Yeah.
It doesn't do brass. I could sort of do it in plastic. But...
If you do it in plastic, I can paint it to look like brass. But
well, I have the brass thing like we made the those Top Gun things out of. Okay.
Bring a little double-sided tape. Let's put the plaque on the wall and let's go back next year and see if it's still there.
Oh, that's the best. Okay. Shh. If anyone's listening, that's what we're doing. Okay. I got to remember. Okay. Now I have another project to do. Anyway, so we'll be there this year. Who knows? We'll be in the lobby recording,
if possible.
FDA rules allow, or whoever CDC rules allow. But we'll see.
It's our intention. We will see how it plays out.
We're going to be there. If you're going to be there, let us know. Reach out. We'd love to say hi. And
we will be there also, Friday, Saturday, and part of the day Sunday. So we'll be there the whole weekend.
We are. Also, check out I wrote it down here. Check out our IMDb. No, don't do that. Check out our Instagram. I meant to write Instagram. We post pictures from the show every week on Friday morning. So check that out. Okay, so this week there's a bunch of trailers. I know we mentioned it last week. So we're going to talk about trailers. We may do something else. We'll see. We always aspire to do more and talk.
Sometimes our reach just exceeds our grasp.
Well, and sometimes we say, well, if we go short, we'll do this, and we never go short. So we never get to this thing.
Yep.
No, in the texting, but let's do this, and this. And we're like, we're not doing this, and this. Maybe we'll do this.
And that's the extent of our show prep every week, people.
Exactly.
But it's okay.
Let's go.
Because if you were coming here week after week thinking that we were doing some massive amount of research, then
you haven't been listening.
Sorry, but
then you have not.
You really
been
haven't been paying
clearly.
attention.
Because honestly, the shows that we plan really are weeks of fighting.
That's true. But no, we live this show, so there is show prep. This is the whole. If you go back to show number whatever.
Yep.
This is just sort of what we do, and now we record it instead of actually speaking like human beings to each other.
Well, it's funny because Maria asked me, she always asks me almost every Tuesday, what's the topic tonight? And I was telling her, and I was saying to her, I said that the days of us saying, all right, we have to watch 5 James Bond movies for the next episode. I said, those days are over. we don't commit ourselves to that much research anymore.
But this is stuff we'd normally do. Did you see this trailer? Did you see that trailer? I saw. What do you think? Yeah, I don't know. That looks shitty. Oh, that looks good. It's just, but we're doing it with you now. So it's the only way we know how to communicate.
Exactly.
So anyway, but let's go random. Todd, what do you got?
Nothing. Go.
I have one for you.
Are you going to jump in or you want me to jump in?
Go ahead.
All right, so starting this Friday, so as this show drops, the first episode of a docu-series called Star Trek: The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek, debuts on the History Channel. Did you guys hear about this at all?
Not at all.
Flew under my radar screen, too. So it's narrated by Gates McFadden. The first episode debuts on November 5th at 10 p.m. They're going to do 4 episodes on the History Channel, consecutive weeks. And then the next 6 episodes goes to something called History Vault, which is their streaming service.
Oh, Jesus.
So to watch all
10 episodes of this?
10 episodes of it, and the first 4 will be on History Channel. The next 6 will be on their streaming service, which I was a little disappointed about. I have enough streaming services. I don't need another one.
I'm not buying a History Channel streaming service. Are you kidding me?
But I'll watch the first 4 that are...
They had put out, I guess it was probably the 50th. There's always like science and Star Trek. Some are good, some are not good. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, this one could be good. I mean, I think I didn't write it all down, but what they were saying was it was gonna go pretty in depth. It's endorsed by Roddenberry, so the Roddenberry family or whatever. So we'll see. Center seat, 55 years of Star Trek, History Channel.
Okay, I have a quick one, and then I have another one. Our pal, who's not our pal yet, she will be, Anna de Armas, is supposed to be it's in talks to be in a John Wick spinoff called Ballerina, which it's funny that it comes up after she's in James Bond, but I think that seeing what we saw of her in James Bond, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's all. Barry, you got anything else?
No, I had just the one this week.
Jesus, I have another one. So Henry Winkler, and it's funny, I was on whatever the hell, those weird cozy TV type channels. It's not cozy. It was another one.
Me TV?
Happy Days. It wasn't me. I don't know which one it was. Anyway, Happy Days is on at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock every night. So I'll always just sort of go by, and I never would even stop to look at the late seasons. And it's been like that. They're now, so they're showing them in order. They're now on season 10. I'm like, I don't even know if I remember season 10 because I stopped to watch it. There is nobody but Fonzie still in the show at season 10.
It's Chachi and Joni, right?
No, they're gone by then also. So Chachi's gone, Joni's gone. I think I was like, what the hell? I don't even remember. I guess I was in college at this point. So it's Fonzie. It's like Linda Pearl, Jenny, the girl who played Jenny Piccolo, the girl from Wings, Crystal Bernard, is like one of the stars of the show. Like, I'm like, who are these people? So, and then I looked it up. It went another season. It went 11
I don't remember
seasons.
this at all.
It went 11.
So
no
what year
Cunninghams
would this
whatsoever?
have been at that point?
In the show or in real life?
No, in real life. What year broadcast?
85?
Oh, God.
Maybe?
Yeah, I was doing more important things.
Yeah. But I think Mr. and Mrs. C are in it sometimes, but it's basically Fonzie and nobody else. Everyone else is gone. Richie's been gone forever. Even Joni's gone. Everybody's gone.
Well, Joni and Chachi had their own show at that point, probably, right?
Yeah, I think that lasted a season. Then
If that,
came
yes.
back.
Yep.
But I was like, this is... And it has to be 1973 by then. And you're still wearing that same haircut? Anyway, that wasn't the point. But
Chachi was at Chiller Theater this past weekend, and I saw some people posting pictures on Twitter with him and saying that they waited 2 hours to meet him. So
I want to have him sign my Trump 2024 flag. Anyway, that's not the point. The point was, it's a coincidence. So Henry Winkler is auctioning off a bunch of his stuff, including one of his leather jackets. So he has 2 leather jackets. There are, I think, 5 others known. One's in the Smithsonian. Gary Marshall's family has one. Henry Winkler has 2. One was stolen. And then there's like 3 others. So there's not a ton. But so he's auctioning off like a lot of the jacket, jeans, t-shirt, and boots.
oh, wow, the whole costume.
And he's smart to do it. This is the time to be doing it. I think it's a... Is it a Bonhams auction? It may be a Bonhams auction. They say the estimate is 50 to 70. I think
It's going to go way higher than that.
That's $500,000.
And he's keeping one. So
no, you say things like that to get people thinking that they're going to get it for 50 to 70, and then in the heat of the moment pay much more than that.
That was like that.
The fact
Remember
that
we
it's
talked
in the
about the Les Paul
Smithsonian.
guitar a couple weeks ago, and it was estimate was $100,000, and it sold for $950,000. I mean, that's not a realistic estimate.
Fonzie jacket is a big deal.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. So good luck. He's half of it, or not half. Some of it is going to charity, so that's good. But
Well, and hey, Henry Winkler's a friend of the show. He was on our show at one point, many years ago. Good dude.
he's a good man. We
Yeah.
met him at something. He was a good dude.
If you
think
haven't
it was-
seen his recent work, you have to check out Barry.
Barry,
Yeah.
they're just finishing season 3, filming season 3.
And
I think it was Philadelphia Comic-Con that you and I went to. I think that's where we met him.
I'm going to give myself a chore. We will put it at, do we want to put it at the beginning? We'll put it in this show.
Tack it at the end of the show, yeah. It was only a few minutes, so that's fine.
It was only a few minutes. And he was very gracious to fans at the shows.
Yes, he was.
For sure.
He was the first person I'd ever seen, and maybe one of the only people. He set up his table in a way that you came into it like it was a booth, and he was standing in front of the table, shaking
He was in
your
the
hand.
front of the table and would greet you and talk to you, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by him, both just seeing how he handled his fans, and then even the fact that he took a minute to talk to us.
he's been, I got to say, his later career, he has been some great characters. And he plays people who are extreme characters. You know, the lawyer on Arrested Development was brilliant. And the character in Gene Cosno and Barry is fantastic. And, yeah. And he's obviously having fun with it. So, you know.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people would never have moved beyond Fonzie. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
and that's the thing. And it's like, but, yeah, no, he's
He also produced a lot. He produced MacGyver and other stuff. So he did behind the camera stuff too.
Yeah, he directed too, didn't he?
yeah.
He directed.
I think he didn't direct that much, but he
No.
definitely produced a lot of stuff. You know who's almost as awesome as Fonzie? Fanboy Collectibles.
Hell yeah.
Check them out. There's a ton of stuff on there. It's like we said, it's coming up to the holiday season. You know you want them. Princess Bride, sword replicas, Inigo Montoya, and the Dread Pirate Roberts. I've pre-ordered one of them.
As have I.
There you go. Barry?
I did not, but I'm really looking
Okay.
forward to seeing yours.
Yeah. Hot Toys What If Ultron, which looks cool. There's a cool Iron Studios non-expensive statue of Luke from Mandalorian, which is very cool. There's, if you need a 30-inch Lady Death statue, which is quite fetching, check that out.
The place
Plus,
to find it.
there's so much. There's a lot of stuff coming out.
Well, and
now.
out of left field, but awesome, is the 1/6 scale Prince
Yeah,
tribute
I
statue.
wrote you about
Prince-
that last week, but that is
Prince on his purple
if-
motorcycle from
just
Purple
go to the
Rain.
site just to look at the pictures of this thing.
It's
It is
amazing.
absolutely amazing. So
that's the place you need to be going. Shop for yourself, shop for friends, send people links to the stuff you want. They got
it
everything.
works, people.
It does work. Check them out at their store. It's in Newtown, Connecticut, except if you're on your way to Rhode Island Comic Con. Todd? I know it's not on the way from
It's
you.
still in.
It's
still
not,
in
but
Newtown,
I will
Connecticut.
always make a detour. I will find a way to get there. It's like, yeah.
But you should go. They're open there Monday to Friday, I believe. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. They're also on fanboycollectibles.com. Okay. Trailers. There's a lot of trailers. A lot of stuff coming out between like now and all of 22, it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Well, a year ago, there didn't feel like there was a ton of stuff because of all this COVID nonsense. But now there's a boatload of stuff. Do we want to, Barry, this was your idea, so why don't you start with, I'm going to start with Boba Fett. So, no.
Yeah. No,
you
I
start
think we
whatever
should.
you want.
Let's just get Book of Boba Fett out of the way, because that just dropped yesterday as we record this, and it's fresh and it's awesome. So, and now I know that Boba Fett is not necessarily your favorite character, Dave. You've oftentimes said he died like a bitch in the Sarlacc pit, and none of us disagree. But
if they want to rewrite history, that's fine.
he did kind of redeem himself in Mandalorian season 2, I think, as a character. I think that
The Mandalorian is so good that I'm foregoing my hatred of Boba
I
Fett.
want to see the flashback of him being pooped out of the other end of the Sarlacc. I just think that it explains everything. It'd just be like, and then
They
Boba
would
Fett
have
comes out.
vomited him out.
he most
I
likely
think
fought
more.
his way out.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
You
that
haven't
being
seen what the Sarlacc
said,
digestive tract looks like. It's
This
a
is
fight.
true.
It's
Well,
a
It's
battle.
1,000 years.
It's
It's
supposedly
1,000
1,000
supposed to be
years. and-
digested.
Yeah.
1,000 years. Unless that's just hype. But go ahead, Barry.
All right, well, I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights in that trailer for me. I mean, I love the fact that the Lucasfilm logo comes up and it's the chipped armor paint of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that was cool.
That little detail was amazing. The opening shot of the little Bomar monk spider droid.
How many of those do you have?
Me, none.
You don't?
No.
They gave that was a mail away.
No, I know,
years
but
ago.
I only have vintage. Well, not only. Mostly have vintage 3 3/4 inch figures at this point.
Shit. You have whatever you want to buy.
No, that's true.
I remember buying.
I'm going to
5
need one now.
I wish you. I don't know how many I have. When I just got rid of all that stuff, I know some of them went with it.
Yeah.
I kept at least one.
But that was
If
a
I
great
had
shot.
2,
But that says so much in that shot because it's like he is in the background of Jabba's palace, but the fact that they put him front and center, it just continues to show how much they care about the little details. So all the familiar aliens. I mean, we were complaining a little bit that there weren't enough familiar aliens in the sequel trilogy, but there were Twi'leks. By the way, I saw today one of them is being played by Jennifer Beals.
Jennifer Beals, which is awesome, and she's in the. You see her,
Yeah, she's in the
prominently
trailer.
in the
They're
thing.
Hammerheads, Walrusmans, Gamorrean Guards, Bossk, Weequays, and Tusken Raiders, all in a 2-minute trailer. It just looked great. That shot that they showed of whatever that city is on Tatooine we've never seen before, that was more epic than anything we saw ever on Tatooine. I mean, that city looks big. I mean, it's way bigger than Mos Eisley. We heard for so many years we heard the rumors that George Lucas wanted to do a TV show about the Underworld in Star Wars. He couldn't afford to do it the way he wanted to do it, whatever. This feels like it's an Underworld in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
I mean, it just looks and feels.
I mean,
so
and there's
perfect.
the whole kind of like Al Capone, I'm the new boss, and somebody's going to speak up and say something dumb and get taken out undertone to this. And
But it's even got the Michael Corleone, like, I want to go legit. Like, why can't we all work
that's what I'm
together?
saying. It's like it's just this whole kind of it's basically like a mob underworld story, like you said. I think it's great. They need to spin away from the Western thing. Great. I got to tell you, watching this thing, the thing that just resonates to me is, I think the future of Star Wars is in stuff like this. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It's got this. We have seen the tight, kind of compressed stories. Now we need things now there need to be things that have room to breathe until there's something else that comes up that needs to be told, something epic. But this is this is the Star Wars I'm excited about, and much more so than the dice rolls that they've done previously, and come up craps. So this is There's not a frame in this trailer.
Me and Barry disagree with that.
There's not a frame in this trailer that doesn't look awesome.
And friend of the show, Ming Na, is in there.
I
Who's
was gonna
awesome.
say,
I'm
she
happy to
looks
see her
badass
in the
and-
series.
and great. And just, I mean, and we've seen this with The Mandalorian so far, so it's not like it's surprising to me, but it really does not feel like it was shot in a volume. It really feels like it was shot on exteriors.
It's crazy.
I mean, and it just looks so good. So I'm so excited for this show, and we don't have to wait too much longer.
Do you think... Now, there is voiceover from Mandalorian. Do you think he's in this show?
I didn't notice that.
Isn't he the one in the beginning saying he's talking about Boba Fett?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I didn't pick up on that. I assumed that was that Hammerhead he was talking to. That
I
was him.
thought that was...
But it might have been
Lando.
voiceover from The Mandalorian.
Well, let's check that out and figure that out. I wonder if he's in the first one.
I would not be surprised, and I would also not be surprised that they keep that a little under wraps. I mean, Ming Na did say that she thought she was filming. She thought she was filming Mandalorian season 3. It's yeah. So
he may be in some of it, but definitely there is some him saying something. So anyway, it did look great. It's very exciting. So that is December 29th.
Before the end of the year,
Mark
people.
Count.
Yes, before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year. I'm still fuzzy on what's coming next. I mean, I wish I had a better calendar. We should probably make one.
I have one.
Oh.
I mean, we reviewed it a couple weeks ago.
We did a couple weeks ago.
I know. I just don't have it written down anywhere.
I did. So
I have it somewhere. I'll post it to you.
Todd, do you want to pick one? Why don't you go?
I would say, I gotta say, Morbius. I mean,
that looked good, and
it looks.
I was a little surprised.
It raised my expectations like 100%. I was not enamored with Venom. I
didn't see either. Venoms.
I was not in a rush to see the second one. I haven't yet.
There is a
I
second
might
one.
at some point.
I enjoyed the first one,
I didn't see it,
but only because I knew it was Crash, so it wasn't like I had any kind of high hopes for it, and I found it to be amusing.
Yeah,
but not
it
good.
This sticks very much to the
like it
elemental
fits
nature of the
Spider-Man
character,
more.
And without putting him in the silly costume, and this would be a great Spider-Man adversary at some point. But also has a kind of tragic story attached to it, and
is he good or bad? That's the thing.
Exactly, he is.
You don't know,
and he's a good man with a bad side to him, and it's classic Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. This is it's a very old story, but it looks like they're doing a good job telling it. And I got to say, I mean, I picked this one because, again, watching the trailers is supposed to have a certain effect on you. I don't think I could be more excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I saw this and I was like, wow. It's much more than the teaser, and there's a movie there. There's a story there I want to see.
The opposite effect on me.
What's that?
Oh, really?
I'll be honest. I watched it and I was like, not for me.
Do you remember
Really?
this? You didn't read this character in the 60s. I always thought he was a really cool character. And
I did read it, and I don't remember it really, but I do think this looked good. I was interested in this.
Yeah. So, Dave.
Did we talk about Batman?
We never talked about it.
No.
The trailer looks great. I mean, my first thought of watching it is like, Jesus Christ, how many freaking Batmans are there? I mean, you're still feeling Christian Bale, even though it's been years, but those movies are on all the time. You got Ben Affleck, then you got this guy thrown in. There's just a lot going on, but it does look good. I mean, it feels like a stripped down version of Batman. A little, definitely dark. What I'm seeing of Robert Pattinson, I don't know anything about the dude, but I haven't seen Twilight, but it looks good.
I think it helps that we haven't. I mean, I know you and I haven't seen Twilight. I don't know, Todd, have you seen any of it?
No,
yeah. So I mean, I think it helps us that we don't have that history with him.
It probably does, but he definitely has that look, the young look. Now, I'm curious how many villains. You definitely saw the Riddler. There is Catwoman,
Penguin.
Are they jamming too many in there? Penguin. It feels like there's Joker in there. I don't know if there is.
Yeah, there's a Joker henchman or Joker follower.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because that's clearly not Joker. And they would they'd be shooting themselves in the foot to go to the Joker in the first film with this guy.
I just don't. I mean, I would be fine just seeing him and one or none, but I just hope they don't jam too much in this thing.
Yeah,
I had a similar reaction to what you're saying. I mean, and I going into it before ever seeing the trailer was like, I just don't need more Batman right now. It looks good. I don't know if this is my Batman, but at the same time, like I'm glad it looks like they're doing something different.
What is your Batman? There's so many freaking Batmans.
Well, no, I know, but I know, and I'm still more.
This should really be 5 years from now.
Yeah, I'm still more of an '89 Batman, to be quite honest. I mean, I know you don't love that. And the Nolan stuff to me was okay. I hated the voice that he did. It really took me out of it. So maybe I'll like this. I'm not a DC guy anyway. So the fact that, I thought Affleck was a good Batman. I would have liked to have seen more of that.
I think he was a good Batman.
I think when they gave him, when they gave him stuff to work with, he was good. And there was a lot, there's a lot of potential there that wasn't realized. I am a Batman guy. I like every incarnation of Batman to some degree, unless Joel Schumacher's attached to the property. I got to say, this is more interesting to me than I thought. This is very like year one-ish early, right out of the chute Batman. He's still kind of feeling his way around. I think it's, the other thing is there's more of a realism to this than some of the other things. It's he's a much more tactical kind of thing. There's the vehicles the Batmobile is very kind of built up from a streetcar, kind of got that look.
And that was some of the things I liked about it, was that it felt to me like, they've gone with an actor who's young enough that if this works, they could actually do a whole series of movies with this guy and give him an opportunity to evolve, and not just, they're not throwing him in with like the fully baked, beautiful Batmobile and the fully baked.
Oh yeah, and again, this is
and all that.
This is a character from 1939 with a backstory from 1941 that needs to be, there needs to be some updating with him. And God, I hope we don't see the Waynes killed again. But it's
that's why.
But
we don't need all these villains yet.
He's got to be a character. This has got to be a Batman for a different age, and he may not be my Batman, but I am open to different interpretations of the character. I've been reading Batman comics for 50 years, and he's changed and evolved a lot. So we'll see how this goes. I will say I was very impressed with this, and I was really worried that they were trying to like emulate other things initially when I read some of the things that they did. But I think this could still be its own thing and be a very different Batman. So,
if he has a villain that he fights, but they show us a bunch of other villains just to give us a sense that Gotham City is sort of plagued by these guys, then that to me would be interesting. But if it's him fighting all of these guys, then that to me is maybe too much. So we'll see how it plans out.
No, Batman fights guys. It's what he does. So
no, I know, but to me, like,
what he does not do is shoot them with a machine gun. Okay, so as long as we stay away from that, I'll be open-minded.
That was horrible. Yeah, this Matt Reeves sort of knows what he's doing. We'll see.
Yeah,
I honestly, I look at this and I feel a little bit sad that we didn't see a Matt Reeves Affleck film. So, but it's. Again, it's a new chapter. It's a new beginning for Batman, and I think we're going to see a new Batman every decade. I mean, and and the other one was cut short. The previous one was cut short by a lot of bad decision making.
We've had 3 in the past 10 years, haven't we? I mean, if you really, when was the last Nolan Batman?
Was it 2010?
I don't even know.
Yeah. Anyways, anyway. It's yeah.
Hey, we need to watch something. I'll check it out. I thought what I saw I liked. Let's keep going with this. Barry, what do you?
I'm gonna pick the one that neither of you would have picked, which is The Beatles Get Back. It's gonna be, was originally supposed to be a documentary single movie. They went back to all the footage they shot in 68 or 69 when they were making Let It Be. They made a movie, Let It Be, that came out in 70 or 71 that was bad, depressing, showed the breakup of the band. They gave all the footage to Peter Jackson. He restored all of it.
It was in a vault for like 50 years.
Yeah, unseen by anybody. Most of the footage was never seen by anybody because they shot 50 hours of footage, and there was like an hour and a half in the Let It Be movie. The footage looks like it was filmed yesterday, the way he's cleaned it up. I mean, it looks
Peter Jackson.
Unbelievable.
I mean, he's done some amazing kind of restoration stuff like this. And honestly, I'm watching this trailer and I'm thinking, this could be like a film that they made. The way it looks, the way it just, they could have cast this and made this story. There's also just I'm going to watch this thing. I'm excited for this. I was excited when I first heard about the project. There's also just like a sadness to this. You're seeing the end of something here while you're watching this.
But that's what I think is so interesting about this, is that that's what everybody's thought for the last 50 years. But when they went back, I've watched some interviews. When they went back and watched the footage, there's very little sadness from what they said. It's almost all happy, and they're having fun. And they were able to turn... I think that they realized, rather than make a 2-hour movie, they're doing... I think it's three 2-hour movies. So it's going to be a 6-hour, miniseries or whatever you want to call it. But from what it sounds like, most of it is actually very positive and upbeat, and they're having fun. And they cut all of that out when they made the original Let It Be and made it a movie about the band breaking up. So I'm actually curious to see where it goes. And I think there's definitely going to be some of that in there. They've even in the trailer, they show there's a period where George Harrison quits the band, but he comes back.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
But as a lifelong Beatles fan, I've been waiting. This just the amount of stuff that's going to be unearthed in this, but just to see them, because anything you've ever read, anything you've ever heard, all just the articles you've read over all these years, was that this was like a terrible time for them, and it doesn't look like it.
Oh no, I don't think it was a trailer, and I don't think, and I've never thought it was terrible. I feel like this could have, that everything that went badly could have, what I'm saying? It's just like this is the moment when the fracturing happened, when the things, and it's not little things. And if this was about a big blow up, and it was just people that had spent 10 years intensely connected with each other in every way possible, and we're just needed to move on, to do something else, to have
that doesn't sound like exactly what
no,
really
but what I'm saying
Paul
is on a whole bunch of Lennon and McCartney met when they were teenagers. They were 15 and 16 when they met the first time. It's like,
but he brought Yoko Ono in and screwed everything up. In the clip, he's like, "Oh, Yoko's sitting on an amp.
She's an easy villain for this." I think they all these people changed in a lot of ways. They weren't the kids they were when they started, and
the Rolling Stones, they're still going.
That's for sure, and I do think that a lot of things, had they gone slightly differently, we might have seen these guys play together, record together again.
Absolutely.
Later on, that never happened, obviously. But to me, this could be like the perfect sort of like final document of the Beatles. Which, thank God they still had all this footage.
It's interesting. I guess it was tied up in legal issues.
Well, I think they probably had say so on this, and they, yeah.
Well,
I think that they are definitely involved. They just released the deluxe version of the Let It Be album that kind of coincides with this, and it's a remixed album, but then there's 2 extra CDs of outtakes and stuff, which of course I've already listened to all of, and it's a lot of fun to listen to them like goofing around and messing around in the studio. There's not a lot of bands I would want to do that with, but for some reason, it's like anytime you hear something new from the Beatles that you've never heard before, it's like a big deal. So.
Yeah, it did look interesting. I'm not a Beatles fan, and I was like, eh. And then I'm like, oh, a 4-minute trailer. The thing that got me, if it was sort of that old, scratchy footage that you would expect, it was so crystal clear. You would swear Paul McCartney was just like de-aged from.
It looks like they shot it
Paul
yesterday.
McCartney.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's what. It wasn't this sort of pieced together thing. I think it looks very interesting.
Did either of you ever see They Shall Not Grow Old? What Peter Jackson did with all the World War I footage? It is amazing. So he took all this World War I footage, made this documentary about World War I, and the problem, you can't watch that footage because the timing is off. Everything's stuttery. Okay, well, he basically created a computer process that filled in those gaps, and it looks like regular footage. And it's not stutter steppy as it goes, and then they colorized it, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It brings you into that era in a way nothing else ever has, and he's uniquely qualified for this. By virtue of that and other projects like this he's done.
I'm gonna have to track that down because I've heard about that, but I've never
it's
seen
amazing,
it.
Barry. And I've watched, I believe, probably close to every World War I film, and dozens of documentaries. And this thing is just a phenomenal effort. It tells a story in a way nobody has.
Wrapping up on the Beatles thing for one more second. The Beatles have capitalized and re-released everything they've ever done to the point of nauseum. They have buried the Let It Be movie. It has not been released in 30, 40 years. So, they know it's not the document they wanted out there. And like I said, they've capitalized on everything that they ever did. So the fact that they never let that get out again, tells you something. And that's why I'm so happy that this is finally coming out in this format.
Yeah.
So... looking forward to it, big time.
It's as a historical document alone. Should be significant.
These things done the right way are super interesting. I watched all 3 or 4 parts of the Muhammad Ali thing, which I'm not a sports guy. It was just really done. I mean, obviously it was what's his face, that documentary guy.
Oh, right. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm thinking he's in iMovie. They have the...
They do. It's his filter with his
Burns,
name on it.
Kevin Burns.
Ken Burns.
Yeah.
You couldn't remember Ken Burns? Okay. So...
well, no one jumped in. Anyway, it was interesting and well done and anything. Anyway, so this I feel the same way about. I mean, we've talked about it, and we'll go quickly, but Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm so looking forward to that. It looks so awesome. And
they keep releasing trailers, but they're doing such a good job of not giving the whole movie away in these trailers.
I really almost didn't want to watch this trailer, but the cool thing is, it's like, they have all these kids and stuff, and you throw Paul Rudd in there. You can't go wrong putting Paul Rudd in your movie. I mean, is there a Paul Rudd movie that's not good?
I think the thing is, too, though, they keep giving you new pieces, but they're giving you pieces leading up to what happens. But we don't see any new stuff after that well breaks open. And I think that's going to be the core of the story. And it's like they can drive you up to that point from as many different directions as they want to. But all hell is going to break loose. And it's what happens, how they deal with that, which is really going to be the story. We've been given the setup from 4 or 5 different angles, from different perspectives. But we knew that from the synopsis.
The fact this movie's been finished for as long as it has, and they've kept so much of this a secret, and the fact that it screened at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And I guess if you really wanted to, you could go out and find out info, but I'm avoiding it. But I'm just, I'm shocked that they've kept so many secrets for this long.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And that girl, the main girl, you see her in real life. They turned her into a mini Spengler, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, first of all, now she's probably 3 years older.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm excited. I can't wait for that.
Yep.
So,
Todd, you got another one?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched it at all. Witcher 2 season 2 looks really, really awesome. I'm excited for that. I love the first season. The female lead or his kind of ward has grown significantly since the last episode. So she's kind of a much more of a character in her own right this time, and not the victim throughout the series like she was in the first time. I think it's going to be great.
Did you see season 1, Barry?
No, I haven't watched any of it.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So you didn't even see season 1?
No, I haven't watched any of it.
It's fantastic. You guys really... I know it came at a time when a bunch of other stuff was dropping in December, but definitely check it out. It's great. It's absolutely terrific. There's a reason...
I'm still catching up on Evil, which you dragged me into kicking and screaming, and I do love it, so I'm almost done with that one.
I will recommend this almost as highly. And
okay.
But it's great. It's just great. I've read several novels and which don't make me less confused at any point, but there's just a lot of really good stuff in this.
Why is it everything? All these things have to be confusing. It's like, can't they just be understandable?
Yeah. Well, again, I'll tell you the great thing, and this isn't a thing in the story as much, but in the novels. Okay, I'm going through the first novel, and I'm like 4 short stories into this first book when I realize these are all the fairy tales that I grew up with. They're just not the way. Okay, they're just not the way. Like Snow White, not who you thought. Okay, and everybody. So all the fairy tales basically have been cleaned up, and he's just kind of walking his way through all these stories, and they all end very, very differently, and it was just brilliant. And you know, I played the video game a little bit, and it's awesome. You guys both got to check it out. I'll tell you, you both will like it if you watch it.
Really? You're saying that about me?
I am saying
too.
that even about you. I'm telling you, it's
Wow.
Huh.
it's yep.
That's surprising.
I probably should have pushed harder on this one, but you get 10 episodes to watch before the new season starts. Oh.
Okay, interesting. All right, Barry, what else you got?
I'll go with House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, I guess it is.
It totally is.
There was a line in the trailer that I liked. They said, "Dreams don't make us kings, dragons did." Or dreams didn't make us kings, dragons did. So just bear with me for a second on this because you're not going to like where I take this. But as you know, I've been rewatching Lost.
Oh yeah, I was going to equate that to this, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, well, they're nothing alike, obviously. But what I wanted to say was, I felt like Game of Thrones was uneven, and I felt like Game of Thrones had this thing that, just like The Sopranos did on HBO, there was too many gaps between seasons. I had a hard time remembering where things left off. Anyway, back to Lost. We've been rewatching Lost.
What was going on while you're watching it?
Well, that too, but from season to season, it was hard. We've been binge watching Lost. I have now made it through the parts that everybody complained about. We just started season 5. The fact that I feel like I've got the consistency and continuity of the story, I'm not feeling like I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I know what's coming, and I know the ending and all that, but like I'm into season 5 already, and I didn't feel like I felt when it aired, where I was like, why are they wasting my time with this when I want to know what's going on with that? When you watch it in a row like that,
binging, yeah.
There's so much more consistency, and I feel like maybe I need to do that with Game of Thrones again.
That's an investment.
Just because I feel like I don't know that I want to go into House of the Dragon without feeling like good memories and strong history of the Game of Thrones stuff.
That's a
okay. So what Barry is just described?
There are big gaps in my Game of Thrones.
In psychological terms,
is
described is called Stockholm syndrome. Okay. Now, when he starts saying how his captors are actually really nice people, okay, and I'm sorry, I just.
I know. I'm basically saying
you can't make Lost better than it is by watching it with lowered expectations. You can't do that, and you could not do the same thing with Game of Thrones and say, "Well, the second time around, I know I won't be as disappointed, so it will be better." Okay, Barry.
No, that's not what I said. You're misquoting me. I'm saying with Lost.
That's not what you're saying, but it's what you're saying. It's not the word you're using.
But with Lost,
what you're saying.
The first time I watched it in real time with the rest of the world, there were entire episodes and even seasons where I was like, where is this going? But when you watch it with more consistency, I felt like there was more of a solid story there than I gave it credit for the first time through. Because I would wait 6 weeks or 6 months between episodes sometimes. Now I'm just waiting a day or two, if that.
That won't.
We watched 6 episodes in the last 2 days.
That
2
won't
days,
help
so.
it. There's numerous entire storylines dropped in Game of Thrones because of their shooting schedules. Because it's like, let's just wander off and we'll never go back to this character again.
But I didn't feel like there were seasons of Game of Thrones that there was some stuff. I didn't feel like it was Lost where it's like, oh my god, season 3 awful.
Oh, I totally agree. I think most of what's there.
The end was horrible, but most of it was good. But Barry, do you have glasses that are made up of like 2 of these things, and you watched Lost through these glasses? I'm holding up the Crystal Skull glasses.
I couldn't more thoroughly be enjoying my rewatch of Lost. I swear to God.
I cannot imagine.
It's so fucking good.
I don't think you need to do that for game. This is a prequel. It's about the Targaryens.
No, maybe you're right.
Targaryens, they have blonde hair and they have dragons. What else do you need to know? Nothing.
Maybe you're right.
And maybe some of them, no, they're crazy.
Maybe this will stand on its own and you don't even need to know any of that stuff. Because you're right, because this happens before. But
if you weren't listening to the Stuff Dreams Are Made of podcast and you know our pal Ryan is working out, I would be less likely to even want to watch this. I feel like I need to support this guy.
By the way, they said, I don't know if you heard their last podcast, they said they will go on any podcast they're asked to be on. So we should ask them to be on.
Okay, so
let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the fact that they're prop collectors, we could literally have the showrunners of Veep and the showrunner of this House of Dragons show.
I don't care about that. I care about their prop collection. Anyway, well, we have mutual friends too, so
yeah, we do.
I have no enthusiasm for this whatsoever. I'll
watch it.
I don't try it, which means I'll watch the entire season because I always do. But
you're not going to watch all of Invasion, are you? You just say every day how it sucks.
Oh my God, it's just so bad. It's a train wreck.
So give up.
If there was something else I had to watch, I would stop. But it was like I'm caught up with everything.
Someone recommended it to me over the weekend too.
What's that?
My friend's neighbor's husband recommended it to me over the weekend.
That's a friend's neighbor's husband.
Yeah, we were at their house, so you know.
Yeah, I have never watched, and did I talk about this last week? This thing is criminally slow. It's like there's like 5 storylines, and you don't care about any of these people. There was one sort of hazy glimpse of an alien. Like an upshot of like these kind of like leggy things standing above them, which may have been a hallucination. And it's just, it's coming up on halfway through this series.
Bail, you got to bail.
It's like,
yeah. I happily deleted the whole season, some with 30 episodes of Flash and Supergirl and Batwoman and Stargirl, all of that shit off of my TV.
I will finish Supergirl, and I will probably at some point watch this season of Flash.
Did either of you continue on Y the Last Man, or when you heard it was canceled, did you bail? I bailed.
Never went back. I don't.
I got 2 more episodes in it, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It's
just knowing that the story ends without a conclusion to me is enough.
That is part of it,
tough.
and part of it is like I'm not sure I like the other directions they took with it. It's they're not telling the same story in the comic. Very same premise. There's some really good stuff in the comic that they've already skipped over from what I've seen. They might revisit later. Who knows? But
knowing that it's we'll see.
Then that's the thing. It's like, to me, because I know the story, it's like it's never gonna live up to potential because they just can't get there. It's a long form narrative that they're taking a brief pass at. So
I've been watching Foundation, and it's like, Jesus Christ, who is this, and when are we? It's just
really? I haven't gone back to that yet.
Foundation?
I've only watched 3 episodes, but I can't tell. I'm glad they're putting 17 years ago, 400 years ago, 17 years later, 19 years. I get all that, but I'm still not sure who is who. So the girl with the doctor, what was her name? Gloria or something like that?
Okay, yep.
Who was the math genius girl?
Yes, yep.
What was her name? Something with the G.
Something like that, yeah.
I thought... And then there's I'm sorry if this is spoilers, but it's not because I don't understand. Then there's the girl on the planet who is sort of the protector.
The warden,
girl.
Yes. She's a great character.
I thought they were the same girl.
I
thought that was her. First of all, I thought that was her. Then I thought that was her daughter. And it's neither. So I don't know who the hell she is.
She's the daughter of 2 of the people that were on that ship that you saw very, very briefly.
I thought those 2 people were the dude who was watching after the math girl and the math girl. And apparently it's not. But it's just a little...
The last thing
okay.
I saw was when the guy ejected the math girl out of the ship. I haven't gone back since then.
Okay. I'm current on it.
Oh yeah, they haven't gone back to that yet.
I'm not going to spoil that. I am current on it. There's more stuff ahead. There's some. It gets better. I won't say it's the fastest moving thing in the world, but
that's kind
Your
of a
expectations
staple
have
of
been
Apple
raised
TV shows in general.
due to Invasion.
None of them move that fast.
I will say this is good. It's worth the time investment. To me, I think it's worth the time investment. I think there's some stuff in this that's really good. It's you can't do hard sci-fi with a lot of world building. You really can't. And Expanse couldn't do it. This can't do it. You've got to do the groundwork. You've got to establish a bunch of things because you can't just appear to be making everything up as you go along. And that's what they've been doing. I think they did some really clever things in here for continuity, and the Emperors in particular.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And it allows them to have a kind of through line running through the story.
I'm glad they're giving you sort of a semblance of dates, because otherwise you wouldn't have a freaking clue where you are.
Yep.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. What did we just talk about?
We were talking about
Witcher. You talked about Witcher.
Right, and then we kind of segued into why. And
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Barry, what else?
I
Anything
guess
else
Sandman.
Oh, you said House of Dragon.
I did House of Dragon. All right, I did House of Dragon, so somebody else goes.
So I suggested Wheel of Time. I thought the trailer was horrible. I thought it was a time travel show. It's the freaking Lord of the Rings. Who cares? Anybody?
I didn't even see you text that one, so I didn't watch that trailer.
I will say,
I'm like, a time travel show, which would be great. Another one. We need another time travel. It's about time.
The
you read the
trailer
books.
diminishes my interest. It just does.
The trailer
not.
sucked.
It's. I'll try it, but
I have an X next to it. No.
yeah.
When we see Matt Lanter this weekend, we're gonna have to tell him how much we love Timeless.
First of all, dude, I was gonna get your autograph, but I'm not paying you $80 for your autograph.
no, but we can tell him we like Timeless.
Yeah.
I like Timeless. You're not Anakin. You're a cartoon Anakin. Get over yourself.
He's more Anakin than Hayden Christensen.
He spent more time as Anakin than anybody else.
He did.
So
Just because you didn't
In
watch
a
Clone
voice
Wars,
booth
Dave.
for 10 minutes. Okay. What else? What else is here?
Well,
We only have a couple
Sandman, which I'm aware of but have never read, but I figured Todd might want to talk about this one.
That didn't look interesting.
I think
at
it
all.
looks fantastic. It's some of the
Source
casting
material.
choices are weird.
Say something about the source material.
It's yeah. I and millions of other people have read the source material.
No, it's
I
supposedly
know, but you always
a
say that. That's why I'm
fantastic
saying
comic
it.
book. I just have never
It's
read it.
it's a comic.
It's
Yeah.
based on one.
read
of,
that comic.
It's yeah. It's yeah. Anyways, it's one of the best comics ever written, without question. I'm really surprised you've never tried it, Barry. It's epic. It's a lot of
The
story.
trailer did not look epic.
What's that?
I didn't think the trailer looked epic.
No,
it was
the trailer is what we saw in the trailer was like the first part of the first. Maybe,
and I think that trailer is even labeled as a teaser, right? It's not meant to be the trailer for the whole thing. I think it's just to set up the first episode.
Yeah, and it is a good way. I mean, it's very faithful to the story. I'll tell you right now, on Audible, there's 2 volumes of the Sandman. I think that it's a full cast audio. James McAvoy plays Dream, the Sandman. I talked about this before. It's one of the best things I've ever listened to, and I think it's good. I think the show is going to have a hard time competing with this in terms of how it, it's the imagery it creates and stuff. A lot of this stuff is going to be very, very hard to do in the real world. It's also very, very confusing. Dave, don't even go down this path. It's there's stuff set up that they don't reference. They don't pick up again for like 7 stories later. Be very, very curious about this. It will be interesting. Neil Gaiman stuff doesn't translate well to live action. It just doesn't. And American Gods was a big disappointment. We'll see. We'll have to see. I will say it looks good. I'm going to try it. I'm not as excited as maybe I should be, but it's a fantastic story. Yeah. So, yeah, and this looks good. So, yeah.
Okay. What else? Lightyear. Did you guys see?
Yes, I did.
I was like, I didn't know anything about it, and I'm like, why is Chris Evans taking over for Tim Allen?
But he's not.
It's just,
and that's the cool thing.
Yeah, I know, but it easily could have been Tim Allen. That was weird.
Well, I think there's probably Hollywood political reasons why it's not
also,
Tim Allen.
it's like
That's what I'm saying.
When you get an
know.
action figure, and even a talking action figure, it's never like the correct voice. So, and this is a story about the character that the action figure is based on.
Well, I know. We never knew that, though.
No, we didn't, but that's what makes it cool. And
yeah, I just, I mean, hey, he's made tens of millions of dollars off of this thing, so I don't.
Yeah, there's got to be, and also
but
there's got to be a point at which this guy sees his action figure. I would hope so, anyways.
I couldn't tell though. It felt like it was in the future. That was what was weird.
It has to be. I mean, it clearly feels like it's in the future, but
that's the
but
thing.
We also don't know
There's
when
an action
Toy
figure
Story
that
takes
came
place.
out.
You don't know when Toy Story takes place, really.
In the 90s, and Toy Story seemed very contemporary for the 80s or 90s or 2000s or whatever.
Maybe.
I think
I don't know.
It's kind of timeless. I don't know. I think this is going to be great. You don't like animation, Dave,
I think it looks interesting.
I think it's going to be a fun story. I loved when he sees the suit for the first time. When he, that kind of shot where he's looking at the Buzz Lightyear suit.
I like that they're doing it in a more photorealistic animation style, but still feels like Pixar.
Yeah.
So that
it's
really
clever to do literally not another Toy Story.
Right, right. It definitely differentiates itself
different
from Toy Story in a good way. And yeah, I mean, just based on that teaser, I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked great too. I think it's interesting. It just feels like there's baggage behind it, but that's not our problem.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Tim Allen has been great as Buzz Lightyear, so taking nothing away from that. But I think Chris Evans is probably a better actor.
When I heard when I first heard the premise of this story, I was expecting they were going to go like the Galaxy Quest route, where this guy was like a guy playing a character, who like an actor playing a character who then got sucked into something, because it did seem very futuristic to be set in, the time frame. But again, it's a cartoon. You got to suspend.
Maybe we haven't seen that yet.
So.
Well, and you know what I thought was interesting was my oldest son made a comment the other day. We were not talking about this. We were talking about this trailer, and he said, "Dad, there's a trend in every modern trailer now that they take a classic song and they slow it down and they take all the instrumentation out of it." He's like, "Watch, it's in every trailer," and it's that way in the Lightyear trailer with the song "Starman" by David Bowie. Then I watched the Batman trailer again. And it's in the Batman trailer with the Nirvana song. And then I watched like one or two other trailers, and I'm like, holy crap, he's right. It's like every trailer they're doing this in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's to make that connection with you on a different level, and yeah. I mean, trailers are manipulation. Okay.
Ever since that guy died, in a world where man fights beast.
Yep. Yes. No. There's no question. And that's the other thing too. Is like we're not even talking about the movies. We're talking about our reaction to the trailers. And
but they got to grab you these days. There's so much content out there. They got to grab you. So. All right, what else from our list? Ozark, there's
a teaser out for Ozark season 3, and it's really more of like a scene that picks up right where season
4.
Season 4. You're right.
Yeah.
And there's a scene that picks up.
There's 2 actually out right now.
Oh, I've only seen the 1. Okay.
The other one's the one you're talking about is more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched that show, Todd?
I've never watched.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
It's really good.
Ozark's great. Jason Bateman, you gotta pull for this guy. He's awesome. I like everything he does.
And,
He's got a
and
great
there's a
podcast
good supporting
called
cast in that show.
Selfless podcast. No, Smartless podcast. He does it with two other guys. Sean Hayes from Ned and Stacy. No, not Ned and Stacy.
No. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, the show with
Deborah Messing and
yes.
the dude in that
Free Enterprise
time travel show we liked.
And Free Enterprise.
Was he in Free? He wasn't Free.
He
Enterprise.
wasn't Free Enterprise. Yeah.
What's the time travel show we liked from Canada, Todd? That dude.
The dude from
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace.
Sean Hayes from Will and Grace.
Oh.
And Will Arnett.
Yes.
Is the three of them do a podcast,
Yep.
which is actually really good.
You know, if all these celebrities would stop doing podcasts, like it would open the doors for more podcasts like ours. It's just every celebrity's got a podcast.
Absolutely,
now.
totally.
The premise of their podcast is actually funny, and I don't know if they veered away from it later. So they're all relatively famous. They bring in one of their friends or mutual friends as a surprise. So they have Ron Howard, Jennifer Aniston. They have all these people, and then they ask them questions. It's actually a cute podcast. Anyway, but Ozark is great.
Yeah, I love Ozark.
Ozark is totally. Ozark is like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, you know what? And that's why I have not watched it, because there's not a person who can describe this show without using the term Breaking Bad. It's like,
yeah,
and that's a bad thing.
And I just, that's all. It's just every single person who's ever told me to watch it, and there've been many.
I'll describe the show to you without saying anything about Breaking Bad. There's a guy who gets into a lot of trouble and thinks he's smart enough to get out of it, yet keeps getting into deeper and deeper trouble.
Oh, wow, that sounds intriguing. Okay. Are drugs involved
with the
in
cartels?
With the cartels and a bunch of
drugs.
I don't want to be
is there
derogatory
drugs,
towards
criminal
hillbillies,
activity,
but
anything like that to make
hillbilly
it more
criminals.
Yeah.
But not really. That's the funny thing. I mean, there is, but he's like a regular dude. I love, and his character is great because he's like, he thinks he's going to get himself, he's digging a deeper and deeper hole every single time. It's actually really well done. Anyway.
And how many series have Ario Speedwagon as guest stars? Come on.
True.
Okay.
Gotta roll with the change.
Where that came from.
So. And then this is season what?
This is season 4 coming up. But it's only, I think, 10 episodes a season or 12.
I could watch that in a weekend. Okay.
Yeah, it's very manageable.
We'll see.
I think if you always say you need 3 episodes, you watch 3 episodes, you'll be hooked.
That's probably why I haven't. So, but yeah, no, it's been on my fallback list at some point.
It feels like it's one of your rule against the watching.
Oh,
the
it
show
was from
everyone
that
tells you
year.
to watch.
It definitely was from that year. It was like too many people
Yes, it
pushed
is. I
too
don't
hard.
think there's a person who doesn't like it.
And every single person, like I said, "Oh, if you like Breaking Bad, you'll love this." And
Well, I'm not going to watch Witcher until you start trying at least one episode of Ozark, because it's not fair. You recommend stuff, we recommend stuff, you don't watch it.
I believe I've watched many things on your recommendations. I believe I have. I just, yeah. So
Okay.
and many things you don't.
The last one I had on this list is Moonfall. Did you guys watch that trailer?
I watched that tonight. That was the other one that had a song in it that I was like, oh, another trailer that has a slow song.
The only reason there's one of the guys I follow on Instagram who Adam Savage, he builds space suits for a living, and he built the space suits for this. But it's Roland Emmerich kind of,
Honestly,
freaking.
would you say from the guy who brought you a film that was a total flop?
Well, what did it say? Did it?
It said Roland Emmerich at the beginning. Yeah,
It did say from Independence.
But he's also done.
Oh, I know, but still, they said from, and it was like
the guy who brings you
really? You're gonna bring
big,
up
sweeping,
the
unbelievable stories.
Day that 4 people saw. It's like,
well, the special effects looked as bad as they did in the second Independence Day movie, if not worse. So.
I didn't know what this was about at all. I only knew the name.
I think it's about exactly what the name says. The moon is falling into Earth.
The moon is crashing into the Earth, but I feel like the moon is not real. Somebody built it up there. I
loved how it started by in 1969, And I'm like,
Yeah, don't be shitting
everything
on the
you
Apollo
know
11.
about the Apollo space program was a lie. Like, come on.
I hate that. I don't know. It looks stupid, but I'd watch it if it's on HBO or something.
I would
That's
watch
about
it at home, but I'm certainly not going to a theater to see that.
I am
bucket of
certainly
crap.
not going to theater, and I'm not paying $3 for it either.
No.
Or $5, whatever they'd sell.
So,
But
yeah.
And how did Jon
So
Snow's
that's a lot of
sidekick
stuff.
get to be an astronaut? That's what I want to know. So
Yeah, they usually need to be in better shape.
that's kind of what my thought was. It's like
oh yeah. Now he's the Josh Gad.
how low
type
is the bar?
Funny
you know?
sidekick.
It's like,
Right, but that guy always works in mission control. He's not on the ship.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's Will Arnett from the Smartless podcast,
Yeah.
I believe. I don't know anything about. Anyway, that's all the trailers. Let us know what you think of them. You never do anyway, so don't bother.
We just did an hour on trailers.
Okay, now our main topic is you guys.
Now for a cleanse it palate. Yeah, palate cleanser. Yeah, here comes the main
Let's
topic.
go. What's in the box?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Barry, what's in the box?
I'm doing a double just because I want to extend the length of the show even more. Todd, you're going to appreciate this one. Dave, probably not. Todd, it is the Jackson Star Wars Black Series action figure.
Nice.
Jackson was in, I think, 6 episodes of the Marvel comic back in the 70s.
Yep.
He's
a rabbit.
a rabbit action figure in a spacesuit. What more do you need to
Jackson
know?
with 2 X's.
Yeah, Jackson with 2 X's. I think he was in 6 issues. He debuted in Star Wars issue 8 of the Marvel comics. Couldn't not get him.
The original one?
The original from the 70s.
He was
yeah.
one of the more prominent made up characters, and
he was. I mean, the first 6 issues were Star Wars, so he was 2 issues after Star Wars. He showed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's one, and then the other one is also Star Wars, but this is part of the vintage Star Wars collection. I did finally get a cardboard Sears exclusive Cantina playset from the 70s, which is literally just a piece of cardboard with these white pegs, but believe it or not, those white foot pegs are really rare, hard to find.
That's the outside of the cantina.
Yeah, it's the outside of the cantina.
Yeah.
This was a Sears exclusive playset. It came with 4 action figures, one of which is the rare blue snaggletooth figure. I had all the figures already. I didn't have the cardboard piece, so I finally tracked that down for a fairly reasonable price. So another item checked off my vintage Star Wars collection. Cool. Todd, what's in the box?
this is a figure of the original Wasp from Ant-Man and the Wasp, but for some reason, paradoxically, she's wearing a skin-tight black PVC outfit. This is Catwoman from Batman Returns. From Iron Studios. It's actually really good. It's about 10 inches tall. Just came out. It's on our sponsor site. It's really good. They did a terrific job with this. I've got a shelf of Catwoman figures. This is the one. I've got a contemporary with the movie figure in the case representing this Catwoman. This is much nicer, and they did a great job with it. And again, the likeness is super. And just a really, really cool figure. So that's that. And I'll send you guys some pictures. So
Cool.
Dave, what do you got? Oh, and there's a removable cat in case you don't like cats.
Who doesn't like cats?
I don't know. I'm just saying. There's got to be a reason the cats are movable. Haven't figured out why. Go ahead, Dave.
There you go. I have, this ties into our main topic, which we'll talk about in a couple of weeks, Titans. This is the Nightwing little Batarang.
Oh.
Metal. Wait. I got this from when we were looking at the pilot Star Trek shirts a couple weeks ago. I saw this on their site. The same place I got the Robin thing. So they make a little metal Nightwing.
I need
Very
one of
shiny.
those. Have you tried throwing that?
Yeah. I have not. I didn't want to damage it. But it is heavy, and it's metal, and it's sharp, and it's polished. So, Hey, you can see me in it.
Yeah,
I do see your reflection. It's very shiny.
I mean, it's like, I think it was like $15 or less than that.
I've been thinking about getting the sticks. Those are cool.
Everything that guy makes is pretty good. That's we have the shirts.
Yeah, no,
that Robin
I have
is
not been
exactly what I
disappointed
was
with
looking
anything
for.
we bought from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's chromed. It's nice. So that's what's in the box. What else? That's probably it. So check out our Instagram, Rhode Island Comic Con. We will have a show next week from there, one way or another, whether it's with William Shatner talking to us or us talking to ourselves, one or the other.
Or anything in between.
Both of those things have
anything
happened.
in between.
So,
there's a spectacular guest list of people that are going to be there. I mean, so who knows? Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. It may be, I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone really obscure.
Maybe it'll be Barbara Gordon in the wheelchair. Maybe it'll be Kevin Smith. Who knows?
He's a podcaster.
He is. I think if Kevin Smith sees a microphone, I don't think he can stop.
I don't
stop
believe
himself.
Constitutionally, he's capable of avoiding that.
He can't walk past the microphone and not talking to it.
Yep.
So we're going to have to have several drinks, and we'll talk to anybody.
Yep.
Apollo Creed. He's going to be at the show.
He's not going to talk to us. Kevin Smith, maybe. Kevin Smith, I hear you can't avoid a microphone. Anyway, so we'll see.
Well, I'm looking forward
to him
to
and
this year.
cheeseburgers, but look at him. So.
Anyone we want to smell, we say, who do you want to smell? Because when we met the lovely Karen Gillan, her perfume was very, very noticeable when she leaned in and said hi to us.
It is probably good that you explained that, because we do say that on a fairly regular basis and nobody knows what we're talking about.
She smelled lovely.
She did.
So, anyway. So, look us up. We'll be there as you listen to this. Anyway. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
So, just to bring this all full circle, we talked before about my Fonzie action figure that we got signed, and we did meet Henry Winkler back at the Philly Comic Con, and we asked him what his Desert Island DVD would be, and we're going to play that for you right now.
The first movie that I cried in when I was a young boy, Rebel Without a Cause, with James Dean.
Cool. That was he didn't talk too much, but it was fun being on his line. We've talked about it before. He's definitely, if you're at a show and Henry Winkler's there, go get his autograph or talk to him. He's actually a lot of fun.
He was very cool.
We had a good experience.
Yep.